in the neurofeedback, when you're trying to explain this to somebody, it can get very complicated, in case you haven't noticed that if you've studied neurofeedback yet at all. Harry, there is a part in your program that addresses neurofeedback,
Yes.
right? So that I have found the best way to explain this, especially to kids, is there are brain waves functioning at all different frequencies all the time, but I tell the kids, especially the ones who have ADD or are on the autistic spectrum, because now the thinking is that there's this spectrum that starts with kind of an anxiety OCD constellation of symptoms and then moves into ADD, ADHD, Tourette's, Asperger's, and autism, and that these kids have been classified and feel that there is something wrong with them. And what I tell them is, first I find out why they were brought here, and most of them say, my mother dragged me here. Which is good, because I try to work with adults with ADD, and it's a real problem because their mommies are not bringing them and they don't come. So it's really, really good to get them, when they're young. And I said, then there's really nothing wrong with you. It's that you're hardwired a little differently, and that just as though when you need to build body muscle, where do? You go next door to the New York Sports Club, which is like gets bigger every time I come here, and people want to build their body. When you have an issue with your mind, you come to the mind gym. And that's where we do biofeedback and neurofeedback, and you get to build mind muscle. And they love this. And then I tell them, you're going to be the boss of your body. You're going to be your best friend. You're going to be in control. Because really all we want, most of us, is just a little control, a little power, at least over ourselves. Because we know after a while that we can't control anything else, especially not other people. So the least we can do is control ourselves. But you have to learn how to do that. And it's really unfortunate when people say, oh, why don't you just relax? You've probably all heard that. Somebody has said to you, oh, why don't you just relax? Well, you might know how, but most people simply don't, because it is a skill. It's a skill set that must be taught, and can be taught very quickly. And so I explained to them that they have these slow waves that sometimes get in their way, and I call them Darth Theta. And most of them have seen Star Wars, so they like that. Darth Theta. And we're going to help get Darth Theta under control. And what we're going to do, because that's the dark side, we're going to bring it in. And we're going to concentrate on beta power. And a lot of my patients who have this are little boys, and so I call them, Beta Man. We're going to get Beta Man involved. And then there are softwares that have spaceships and all kinds of wonderful little boy things. And sometimes we'll put on star badges, and and I'm sitting with them, and they're the captain, and I'm on the ship, and I tell them not to kill me. So we really have a lot of fun doing biofeedback. Biofeedback is fun, and this was an example of a pre and a post. They both have the same date because I printed them out on the same day. This was a while ago, but it's pretty dramatic how it works.